and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you 7 books that you need to read. Now, I think that you need to read all of these books because I love them so much. All of these books I gave 5 stars, and most of them got me out of a reading slump, so they must be really good. So let's get right into it. Okay, the first one is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheehan. Now, I've talked about this book so much on this channel. Now, I also did a reading vlog of me actually reading this, and wow, this is so good. Now, I'm going to tell you what this is about. So, this is about Archer and Bree. Bree is moving into a town because she's getting away from like bad things that's happened in her life, so she moves into a new town and she starts hearing about this person, Archer, and everyone keeps saying that he's weird, and really not normal, and so she keeps asking questions like what's happening, and she finds out that his name's Archer and that, he doesn't speak. Okay, so her dog goes into Archer's garden, and so obviously she's going to go after her dog, so she goes after her dog, and then that's when she meets Archer, and she finds out that Archer can't talk, which she already knew, but first they met in a parking lot though, and then that's when she starts asking questions. That's the bit I missed out. And so they start to become friends and everything, get to know each other. Now Archer's side of things, Archer obviously can't speak because when he was younger he had an accident and it ruined his voice, basically. So the way he can communicate is obviously sign language, which only Bree knew, because obviously not everyone's going to know that, or obviously having to write it down. But I'm not going to tell you what happened to him in the past because that ruins it, and you do find out, and it's so shocking. But I recommend, if you haven't read this yet, I recommend that you do, because this book is so good, and you will not be disappointed, I can tell you, because even if you look at other people's reviews, they always hype it up as well. I'm not the only one, because this book is worth every hype. It's worth everything. So if you haven't read this yet, go and read it. Wow. The next book is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Now, this book is more on the dark side, so just letting you guys know, this is not a romance. Okay, this is not a romance at all. Now it is teacher-student, but it's not a romance. Now, I don't know if in my past videos I've said it's teacher-student romance. I'm pretty sure I have, but it's not a romance. I didn't mean a romance because it's not a romance at all. It's a really dark book, but it is so good. You know when you have dark books, but it's just hard to read. You have to be in the right mindset. This is that. You do have to be in the right mindset, and you have to understand. You have to understand, this is not a romance, because you can't romanticize things like this book at all. So let me tell you what the book is about. It's about Vanessa, obviously. And how old is she? She's 15 when she is going to, I think it's boarding school. And her English teacher seduces her, basically. And obviously she's 15, she's a kid, she's not going to understand right from wrong, if that makes sense. And obviously this is a creepy dude, but her English teacher, I always forget his name, Jacob Strain, that's it. He is just a disgusting person. He kept saying nice things to her, and he kind of targeted her because he could see that she's insecure about herself, shy, and obviously he would have thought, oh, she's an easy target, she's going to be easy. this book goes from past to present. So it goes from her when she was 15 and her to when she's in her 30s. And the annoying thing is in her 30s, like in the present, she's still protecting him because he is getting different complaints from different students saying that he has tried to seduce them or has been inappropriate, right? So we know that it's not going to be a lie because he did it with Vanessa, but Vanessa keeps saying, no, what we had was true love, like he was my first love, blah blah blah. It's so crazy, but it is good. Like, I really enjoyed this book. It was hard to read at times, but I suggest that you read this and just make sure that you're in the right state of mind to read something like this. And obviously look at the trigger warnings because there are a lot of trigger warnings in this. But it is so good. Now I'm rambling on about this book, but you won't be disappointed. And I'm going to say it again, don't romanticize this book because it is not a romance. The next book I am going to show you is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This was so good. This was the first Penelope Douglas book I ever read, and honestly, I didn't think I would. I knew I would enjoy it, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did, if that makes sense. So this book is about Jordan and Pike. So if you don't know this already, this is a boyfriend's dad romance. So Jordan, she is obviously living with her boyfriend Cole, I think is his name. And unfortunately, she gets kicked out of her place. So she and her boyfriend Cole has to move in with Cole's father. And then obviously Cole is not a very good boyfriend. He is trashy, basically. He's terrible. So when they move in, Cole is never there. Like, you rarely hear about him. Like, he's always out partying or, you know, mainly partying. That's it. So obviously Pike and Jordan are always left in the house alone, you know, and she's like cooking for him and obviously doing her chores that she promised that she would do. So the agreement for them to move in from Pike was, as long as like they do some chores, they don't have to pay more Jordan, but they don't have to pay rent or anything. They just gotta clean up after themselves, like do their own chores. So Jordan sticks to that, but Jordan is also ended up doing Cole's chores because Cole is never there to do it, and Pike is like, no, like leave it, that's not your job. But yeah, obviously, like I said, because I was left by myself. Now, just to let you guys know, if you haven't read this yet, you most likely have, but if you haven't, there is no cheating in this. Now, it might seem like there is, but there isn't. There is, but it's not like the main thing. Now, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, spoiler, I'll put it just in case. But Cole cheats on Jordan, that's why they break up, and that's how the romance happens. So, there's cheating in it, but there isn't cheating, if that makes sense. So, if you don't like cheating, you could still read this book, because it's not anything serious. I'm not making sense, but you get what I mean. But either way, I gave it 5 stars. I loved this book, and now I love Penelope Douglas, so you should read this. You should definitely go and read this. The next book I recommend is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I am recommending that you read this because this book made me cry. What? Now, I'm like shocked about this. My reaction was like that because I don't cry. Like, it's very hard for me to. I rarely cry, okay? And if I cry, it means something. So this is such a sad book. It is about Poppy and Rune, and Rune has to move away back to Norway, and they have been close since they were like kids. Now, when I can't remember how old it was, but when Poppy was younger, her grandmother was passing away. But before her grandma passed away, her grandma gave her a jar full of paper, like hearts, and she said, whenever you have a kiss that is meaningful, write it down and put it in the jar. And so that's what she's been doing her whole life with Rune, because obviously Rune is her first love, and only love, really. So that's what she was doing, and you know, when they was 14, there was like a couple and whatever, blah blah blah. But like I said, Rune had to move away because his dad got a job, and they promised to keep in contact, but Poppy just cut him off completely. And that was because she didn't want to tell him that she was sick. So it's so sad. You should probably know what happens, that you probably expect it. But the end is so cute but so sad. So obviously, as like near the end, like in the epilogue, wow, I was not expecting the epilogue. I was not expecting the epilogue. But wow, okay, that's what I've got to say about that book. The next book I want to show you is Him by L.L. Ash. This is a best friend's dad. Yes. So, or you could say daughter's best friend, whatever you like. But this is about Blake and Bay. Their names are very similar. So it's hard to say. And Bay needs a place to stay while she goes to college. So her best friend was like, why don't you stay with me and my dad? Because I'm going home. So why not? I've got a room. So she, Bay obviously asks her parents, and her parents are like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, go ahead. So that's what she does. She moves in with her best friend and her best friend's dad. And obviously, again, like Birthday Girl, the agreement is to just clean up after herself, and that's all she has to do. So something happens. I don't want to tell you because it could be a spoiler. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Here, Blake's daughter. I always forget her name, which is bad. Oh no, it's Georgia. That's her name. Georgia, she decides to go to join like a sorority. So obviously she ends up moving out, and then it's just Bay and Blake. And yeah, that is when all like the romance stuff happens. And it's so good. So I give this 5 stars. I want to reread this very soon. Just like I want to reread Birthday Girl, but I want to reread this very, very soon. Maybe sometime next year, because I have got a lot of books I'm reading at the moment, which I'm going to do a video on. So I don't know if that'll be up yet, but it should be. So if it's not, subscribe and turn notification bell so you get a notification whenever I post. But yeah, this is good and you should read it. Okay, next book is The Deal by Al Kennedy. This is a part of a series, but I recommend that you read The Deal because this is so good. This is the trope of fake dating. So this is about Garrett Graham and Hannah Wells, and Hannah has a crush on this guy, and Garrett needs to pass the test. So the agreement is pretend that they're fake dating so that Hannah can make the guy that she likes jealous, and in return of that she'll help him study because she got an A on a test that he failed, so he had to redo it or something. But yeah, this is so good. So good. So I give it 5 stars. This is amazing, and I have heard everyone hype this book up in this series. It's the Off-Campus series, if you don't know. Everyone hypes this book up, so if you haven't read this yet, go read it. It's so good. And following up from that book is The Score by Elle Kennedy, and this is the 3rd book in the Off-Campus series. So the deal is, I just hit myself in the face. Ow! The deal is the 1st. That's what I'm trying to say. Am I feeling okay? And The Score is the 3rd. And I recommend this one because it's also so good. Now, let me just point this out. The whole Off-Campus series, that I've read The Mistake. I haven't read The Goal yet. I'm reading it. And The Legacy I haven't read, but I'm also going to read that very soon. But I know the whole series is so good. So I recommend the whole series, but I recommend, if you wanted to read them as standalones, I recommend that you read The Deal and The Score. That's what I'm trying to say. The Score is about Dean De Laurentiis. Am I okay? Dean De Laurentiis and Ali Hayes. This book is so good. Okay, like, wow. And you've probably heard so many people hyping this one up a little bit more than The Deal, but it's still so good. So I recommend that you read this because it's so good. Now, I am doing a series of me reading the Off-Campus series. And so obviously there is a video of me reading The Score, and you'll see my reactions to it and everything. It's so good. And obviously there's also other videos of me reading, like The Deal and The Mistake. So that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in my next video. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye.